Joined now by our Vancouver Bureau Chief, Farhan Lalji, to talk about this. So, a couple of questions for you, buddy. Why did the Canucks decide on Foote over, say, someone like Manny Malhotra? And how much impact do you think Quinn Hughes had on this choice?
Yeah, I do think Quinn had some. Certainly the narrative in the marketplace in the last few weeks has been do everything possible to make Quinn Hughes happy so that maybe he'll extend with this team next summer. Now, I don't think he made the decision or signed off on it, but I do think the club understood just how much Rick Tocchet meant to Quinn Hughes, and Quinn was certainly effusive in his praise for both Tocchet and Adam Foote. Right when the season ended, he talked about how much he wanted to see Tocchet return, and certainly the club made an effort to make that happen. And then he's also given Foote a lot of credit for just helping him defensively, and I think from an organizational standpoint, I think this came down to a couple of things. I think continuity mattered, I think structure mattered, and Stanley Cup pedigree also mattered. Now, I am still surprised. I certainly believe that if the club was going to go out and get a first-time NHL head coach, that Manny Malhotra was probably in the driver's seat, and I know that he did get serious consideration, but ultimately I think by hiring Foote, they get to keep some of Rick Tocchet's messaging and style and how he wants to play defensively. Now, Tocchet certainly took some criticism for this club's lack of offense this year, but I think that had a lot more to do with injury than it necessarily did system and structure, because so many of the same players did well offensively last year. I also think the organization is going to surround Foote with some experience, maybe a previous head coach, and maybe some additional offensive help to make sure they can try to squeeze a few more goals out of this roster.
And then just hours after Foote is named head coach of the Canucks, Rick Tocchet, former Canucks head coach, is named the new head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers. I don't think any of us are completely surprised, but as you alluded to in that first answer, Farhan, the Canucks made a real effort to keep Tocchet around. So do they have a right to be upset about how this whole situation played out?
I don't think so. You know, I don't think anyone hid from the fact that Rick Tocchet could, in fact, be a head coach elsewhere next season when he decided to step away. I think that if he had gone to, let's say, a place like Seattle, then I think people in Vancouver could have gotten upset, because one of the things that Rick Tocchet said is he wanted to get back east and wanted to be around, you know, family and some other interests that he had in that area. So I don't think he was going to do that to Vancouver and go, you know, a 2-hour drive south of here. But I think everybody understood the pull to Philadelphia. He spent most of his career there as a player. He's got great relationships with Keith Jones and Danny Briere and a number of others in that organization. So the fact is, Rick Tocchet was going to be sought after. You know, Philadelphia's paying him a lot of money, just like the Canucks were willing to do. And if it was going to happen, it was going to happen in the East, and a place like Philadelphia certainly made a lot of sense. So I don't think there's any bad blood on the part of the organization or the fan base for him to go and return home to Philly.
And guys like Farhan will have a chance to ask the new coach, Adam Foote, some tough questions when he meets the media in Vancouver Thursday morning. Farhan, thanks for this.